Hello. Today we're going to be reviewing the 2021 New York Jets season. Now in this video, we're going to be going over everything that has happened this year from training camp all the way until week 18. Now I hope you enjoyed this video, subscribe, and give it a like. So how I will be doing this is we're going to be having a 4-episode series. The first episode is going to be training camp, the preseason, and then the first 6 games of the regular season. And then the next chapter is going to be the Mike White and the backup quarterback era, which stretches from week 7 to 12. And then Zach Wilson returning will begin episode 3, and then episode 4 is going to be a short stat review, and then the beginning of the off season, and then my thoughts about how the season went. So this first episode will go over the preseason and the beginning of the regular season. To start, we have to begin with last season. Now, it's not this season, but last season was abysmal. 2-14, Adam Gase ruining the whole thing. Sam Darnold traded for a second-round pick, and Adam Gase kicked out the door. Now, Joe Douglas brought in Robert Saleh, and at the time, it was an excellent hire. Now, I still think it's a good hire, but I'm glad we didn't sign some other coaches that have notably had a bad time. Urban Meyer. But anyways, we go into the offseason with a fresh mind, looking to hopefully sign some big-time players. On Jets' wish list, Joe Thuney. Turns out, not going to sign him for $80 million. Kansas City Chiefs still him. But then we go on sign Corey Davis for $37.5 million. And then Carl Lawson for another $45 million for 3 years. Both excellent signings. We also signed Jerry Davis, Tyler Kroft, Tevin Coleman, guys like Justin Hardy on special teams. And then we had some other signings that were less notable, but the big two being Corey Davis and Carl Lawson. The Jets went into the draft with the number 2 overall pick and the number 23 overall pick, which we ended up trading up to 14. We drafted Zach Wilson, Elijah Tucker, Elijah Moore, Michael Carter. We had a very successful draft. And then going into training camp, we wanted to see a lot of rookie snaps, and we wanted to limit injuries. Now, the big problem I felt with training camp was the injuries. We had some guys miss a good bit of training camp. We had Quinn and Williams broke his foot. Elijah Tucker missed rookie camps, and then Elijah Moore had a little setback as well with his hamstring. Now, overall, training camp was starting out pretty good. Elijah Moore was destroying our cornerbacks. Zach Wilson was throwing pretty well. And then the Green Bay practice came around and everything just went downhill. The off-season signing of the year, Carl Lawson, tore his Achilles, out for the year. And, of course, it's heartbreaking. But injuries happen. You never want to see your $15 million man go down in training camp. But you have to go on. The Jets entered preseason against the Giants first. Zach Wilson went 6 for 9 for 63 yards. Then Mike White came in. And overall, this game wasn't that great. You can kind of see by the score. I didn't really watch this game as much as the other preseason ones, but the Jets finished 12-7 over the New York Giants. And yeah, this was also the game that Bryce Huff kind of showed that he was really working on the offseason by getting 2 sacks, and then Hamilcar Rashad with 1.5 as the notable players. In our second preseason game, we faced the Green Bay Packers, and we faced the Packers, of course, in practice where Carl Lawson ended up getting hurt. But this was Zach Wilson's preseason game because he had 2 touchdowns, 9 for 11, 128 yards, and those 2 touchdowns went to Tyler Kroft, while Corey Davis went 4 for 70 as well, and Michael Carter also ran for 52 yards. This was overall a really good game for the offense, especially putting up 23 points, 2 touchdowns for Zach Wilson. And the Packers didn't really do anything notable because Jordan Love did not play, and they're playing all their backups. Now, the final preseason game for the Jets ended in a tie, but it did not feel like a tie because we ended up getting a Hail Mary touchdown pass to Kenny Yeboah, which was totally epic. He went 4 for 100 for 2 touchdowns. Lawrence Cager also caught one. This game was, I mean, it was a good game, but we didn't start any of our rookies really. Michael Carter didn't have a great game. Zach Wilson did not play. He got sat just because we didn't want him to get injured. Captain Morgan threw for 2 touchdowns. Josh Johnson for 1. And then the Eagles, of course, Joe Flacco on the Eagles at this point. He ends up getting traded to the Jets. He went for 2 touchdowns. And this game was really fun. By the end, you could see in the fourth quarter, 7, but then the Jets came back 14. And that would conclude the preseason, us finishing 2 wins, 0 losses, and 1 tie. And the first game of the 2021 season was against the Carolina Panthers. Now, the big storyline coming into this game was Sam Darnold versus the New York Jets after we traded him for a second-round pick. Now, this game boiled over to the Jets' inability to stop Christian McCaffrey as he combined for almost 200 yards. But this was a good first game for Zach Wilson. He only threw 1 pick, and he had 2 passing touchdowns, both to Corey Davis. Now, I think the main issue with Zach Wilson in his first game was that he only threw to really Corey Davis. And, he kind of got sidelined with that. But at the same time, the rush game for this was really hard because Carolina in the beginning of the season had a really good run defense with all their good linebackers and defensive linemen because we only combined for like 40 yards. And then the defense, John Franklin Myers was really good in this game, having a few pressures and a sack as well. But other than that, this game was mostly a first game for almost everyone. Sam Darnold actually had a pretty decent game, but all I can say is that I wish we faced like the Panthers in week 17 because they're not that good anymore, as we found out. The Jets faced the Patriots in a pretty uneventful first game. We had some highlights, but at the same time, Zach Wilson had his first blow-up game, having 4 interceptions, though the defense played pretty okay for the first time. Now, this is when we kind of had to figure out that Zach Wilson was a bit of a turnover machine. He had a bad pick in the first game, and now he had 4 picks in this game. The media was out for blood. Michael Carter, though, had his first pretty good game. But overall, I mean, the Patriots, of course, ripped into us. We got some pressure at least. But overall, the Patriots just kind of destroyed us on the ground and on defense. Pretty uneventful game. And the takeaways being that Zach Wilson had 4 picks, and it was really rough. To quickly go over the stats of this game, Mac Jones went 22 for 30, 186 yards with no touchdowns. Of course, Zach Wilson, 19 for 33, 210, and 4 picks. Michael Carter and Ty Johnson both had pretty good games on the ground, no touchdowns. For the Patriots, Damian Harris had 16 for 62 and a touchdown. James White also had a touchdown. They didn't do much in the air, as same with the Jets. We only had Braxton Berrios going 7 for 73. And then on defense for us, notable players, Marcus May had a sack, JFM and Sheldon Rankins all had sacks. And for them, Devin McCourty had a pick. J.C. Jackson, Mr. Interception, got 2 interceptions. Adrian Phillips with a interception. Carl Davis and Matthew Judon with sacks as well. This was one of the games where the offensive line played like complete ass, and they ended up getting better in the end of the season, but turnovers were a big issue in this game. In the Week 3 matchup, the New York Jets faced the Denver Broncos, and this game was eerily similar to the Patriots game. The Jets' offensive line got dominated almost the entire game. We once again couldn't do much on the air, and at least the defense held the Denver Broncos to 26 points. At the same time, we led up to rushing touchdowns. Now, the turnovers genuinely became a problem for Zach Wilson. Now, at this point, he had a pick in his first game, 4 picks in his second game, and then now 2 in this game. And those picks were kind of egregious. He was throwing them into bad coverages. He's throwing him into double coverage. Overall, Zach Wilson's first couple of games were really rough. The offensive line was kind of buckling. The receivers were having drop issues. But at this point, we thought this was going to be a repeat of last year. A lot of turnovers, a lot of bad games, but we go into Week 4. Going into the statistics of this game, Jets fall 0-3, Broncos go 3-0. Zach Wilson, 19 for 35, 160 yards, 2 interceptions. Teddy Bridgewater, 19 for 25, 235 yards. Michael Carter, Ty Johnson, Zach Wilson. We didn't have a good game on the ground at all. Offense was not moving. The offensive line was also bad. Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams both got touchdowns. In the air, Corey Davis had some drop issues this game. Nobody really did anything impactful. Quinn and Williams did have 1.5 sacks, though. For them, Tim Patrick was mossing everybody. It was kind of ridiculous. He went 5 for 98, and they had A.J. Johnson with 2 sacks, Malik Reed with a sack, Shelby Harris with a sack, Von Miller with a sack, Caden Stearns had an interception, and Justin Simmons had an interception. Rough game. Some quick context into this Week 4 matchup. Jets fans were losing hope. Zach Wilson was a turnover machine, and we did not have almost any expectations for this game. We came in just looking for something, and boy did we get it. The Jets start this game off well with a C.J. Mosley sack, mixed with next a Quincy Williams sack. Quincy Williams had an incredible game this game. Then we were able to force a miscommunication on the snap, Bryce Huff bringing him down. Zach Wilson makes a big-time oopsie as he throws yet another pick. This is 8 interceptions at this point of the game. And in the red zone, Bryce Hall forces an incompletion, which he did most of this game. The Jets get a crucial stop in the red zone on 3rd and 6, getting a sack from John Franklin Myers, forcing them to take yet another field goal. Zach Wilson throws an absolute dime to Corey Davis on this massive play, starting to heat up a little bit. The Jets then run late into the second quarter with Michael Carter, who was able to get into the end zone for his first career touchdown. The Jets on 3rd down then bring the pressure on a corner blitz. Bryce Huff and Bryce Hall get in there, the double Bryce action. Now, the Jets once again get kind of torn by Derrick Henry. He was a little bit of an issue this game. Jets bring the pressure again. Their offensive line was awful. Quinlan Williams with the sack. And Zach Wilson, evading pressure, gets his first big play as he launches it on the run to Keelan Cole, who definitely had a touchdown if he didn't fall. Now on third down, Zach Wilson is unable to convert in the red zone, and the Jets have to attempt the field goal as they make it. But Derrick Henry goes into the end zone early into the fourth quarter. On their 2-point conversion, they do complete it, making it a 17-10 game. Now Zach Wilson does biff this snap, but he still throws an absolute spiral to Jamison Crowder, who then gets the next ball on this throw. And Zach Wilson rolling out. I thought this was going to be a pick because he did throw it on the inside shoulder, but Jamison Crowder does catch it as Zach Wilson throws it hard enough. Now on 3rd and 6, in a crucial time in the game, Quinn Williams brings down Ryan Tannehill once again. Now this is the biggest play of Zach Wilson's career. He points down Corey Davis to go farther down, and then in double coverage delivers an absolute dime to Corey Davis, who catches it in traffic for the touchdown. A absolute massive game-changing play. Now, on 3rd and 10, the Tennessee Titans are desperate, but they still can't get it as Isaiah Dunn forces the incompletion. Now, late into the game, Michael Carter busts off for his biggest run. I'm pretty sure that was a 17-yard run. But at the same time, Zach Wilson on a crucial 3rd and 10 miscues his throw and overthrows Corey Davis, which would have sealed the game if they completed it. Back on offense, the Tennessee Titans do score a touchdown with time dwindling, and they get the extra point, forcing overtime. In overtime, Zach Wilson throws another play of his career as he throws another dime to Keelan Cole. Keelan Cole had another big game this game. And then on 3rd down, Zach Wilson yet again with a big throw to Jamison Crowder. Now on 2nd and goal, Zach Wilson throws a screen pass to Tevin Coleman, who almost gets into the end zone. He was 1 yard short. Zach Wilson ends up not able to convert, but we do kick the field goal in. Now, Tennessee on offense fails to convert in the last seconds of the game. And then he misses the kick. Zach Wilson, Robert Saleh, and the Jets get their first win of the season against the Tennessee Titans. Massive upset. Now, I absolutely love going over big game stats. To start with the Jets, Zach Wilson, 21 for 34, almost 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Ryan Tannehill, 30 for 49, 298 yards, also almost 300 yards with 1 touchdown. On the ground, Michael Carter, 13 for 38 with a touchdown, and then we had some guys in here as well. And then for them, Derrick Henry did have a good game, but he didn't have a super dominant game as a lot of people thought, because we had given up so many touchdowns on the ground prior to this. Now receiving, this is the best receiving game for the Jets of the entire year. Corey Davis, 4 for 111 and a touchdown with that Zach Wilson bomb throw. Keelan Cole had 2 massive catches, one on the sideline at the end of the game, and then the first big play of Zach Wilson's career, 3 for 92. Jamison Crowder also had a really good game, 7 for 61 and a touchdown. Now for the Titans, Jerry McNichols was really good. Chester Rogers had 63. Josh Reynolds with 59. They were distributing the ball really well. But one important thing about this game was Jerry McNichols on screen passes was unbeatable on the screen passes. And then Cameron Batson with the touchdown. On defense for us, really big game on defense. Quinn Williams and CJ Mosley both had their best games as a Jet, both having a sack. We had 7 sacks this game. Quinn Williams also had 2 sacks. Bryce Hall on the corner blitz had a half sack. John Franklin Myers with a sack, and Bryce Huff with 1.5 sacks. And then for them, the pick was from Christian Fulton, a sack from Harold Landry, and that's all she wrote. The Jets get their first win of the season. Zach Wilson also gets awarded the Pepsi Zero Sugar Rookie of the Week for his performance against the Tennessee Titans. Now, coming into the game against the Falcons, this is a London game. This game was at 9 o'clock. All the Jet fans were super excited that we got a win in a big-time game against the Tennessee Titans. The game did not start the best for the Jets, We failed to convert on a few third downs. And one key part of this game where the flags were egregiously thrown against the Jets this game. But surprisingly, we had a lot of Jet fans in the stands this game, a lot of England fans. But Atlanta does score on their second drive after scoring a field goal. The Jets, of course, weird thing with John Franklin Myers in coverage. But other than that, Hayden Hurst with another tight end touchdown. We really struggled against tight ends this game, like big time. On offense, the Jets just couldn't get anything going. And once again, another pick, the fourth game in a row for Zach Wilson with an interception. Now, Matty Ice was wheeling and dealing this game, but CJ Mosley manages to make Hayden Hurst fumble the ball, recovered by MC2. Now, Bryce Hall, I wanted to just highlight that play because Bryce Hall almost got his interception. Now, coming at a half, it was 20-3 because the offense couldn't get anything. But then Tevin Coleman goes for 50-something yards on this return. But then back on offense, we're starting to get it going a little bit. Michael Carter's getting hit in his groove. And then we do score a touchdown with Ty Johnson. As Atlanta goes back on offense, we force yet another fumble. Shaq Lawson recovers. And on 3rd and 11, Zach Wilson tries to throw it to Elijah Moore. And he completes it, but it was illegal touching, and we had to turn the ball over. Zach Wilson then makes a really nice throw to Keelan Cole, who was starting to be one of his favorite targets. Zach Wilson on 1st and 20, fits it in. Oh, that's a Denzel Mims sighting. We don't see many of those. But anyways, Zach back on offense tries to recreate what he did in Tennessee. But luckily, we do get a pass interference call on A.J. Terrell, who was a Pro Bowl snub, by the way. But Michael Carter does run this one in for a touchdown, his second of his career. Jet fan go wild. Anyways, on the 2-point conversion, Zach Wilson does complete it to Jamison Crowder, and it is a 70-20 ball game. But this is what I felt like was the dagger. Matty Ice just throws it up into double coverage, and Kyle Pitts comes down with it. And then they go and score a touchdown with Mike Davis, and at this point, the game was over. Now, as the Jets make it back on offense, they need to come down by 10 within 2 minutes. Zach Wilson put together a drive. He does throw a really nice ball here to Corey Davis, who wasn't too involved this game. But at the same time, the offensive line buckled once again, and he gets sacked for a big loss. With 20 seconds left, we just elect to kick it, and Matt Amendola does make the 50-plus yard kick, but we don't get the onside, and the game ends there. To go over the statistics of this game, Zach Wilson, 19 for 32, 192 yards. Once again, another pick. They're almost the 5th game in a row with an interception. But Michael Carter, 10 for 38 with a touchdown. Ty Johnson also with a touchdown. Corey Davis, 4 for 45, no touchdowns. Keelan Cole, 38 yards. Denzel Mims, 2 for 33. Really not a lot of passing offense in this game. For the Falcons, Matt Ryan kind of diced his way through our defense. 33 for 45, 342 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Cordell Patterson, 14 for 54. Mike Davis, 13 for 53, and a touchdown. Kyle Pitts tore up our defense with 9 for 119 and a touchdown. Hayden Hurst also with a touchdown. Cordell Patterson, 7 for 60. And for defense, Brandon Echols led the team in tackles. And the main issue with the defense this game, I thought, was pressure. We got 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. And for the Falcons, they got an interception with Jalen Hawkins. And they had a sack for Ogundeji, and then Jacob Tuioti Mariner. My bad. Overall, I really felt like this one was probably the most disappointing game up to this point, due to us actually having expectations because we beat the Tennessee Titans. And now we go into week 6 with our egos checked because we got to face the Patriots again. Now, there's going to be a lot of Patriots clips in this video. That's because they put up 50 on our asses. We did not have a good game at all. I mean, with the trick plays were all over the place for the Patriots. They really whipped out everything to try not to lose against the Jets because they were 2-4. I mean, they scored like 5 touchdowns on the ground, and it was kind of an embarrassment at this point. Now, Zach Wilson did end up getting hurt this game. He strained his PCL on a Matt Judon hit, and also with a hit that he took on the sidelines by number 93. Just a flinching hit, and then the Matthew Judon hit just kind of ended him. Mike White comes in this game, and then what we like to see is Corey Davis mossing Patrick Mills for a touchdown, 17-7 game, but then it gets away from us as Ramondre Stevenson goes for the touchdown. I mean, they kind of racked it up at this point. You're going to see a lot of Patriots clips. Hunter Henry, fantasy points. And Mike White at this point was doing pretty well. He was actually implementing the running backs more often, which Zach Wilson kind of lacked. Elijah Moore does get his first NFL touchdown on a rushing touchdown, actually, which is positive regardless because you want to see your rookies get touchdowns. Now, Mike White back on offense on 3rd and 3 throws an absolute dime to Jamison Crowder, showing that, hey, he might be a pretty decent backup. And then he throws a pick. But not all his fault. It did hit off the tight end's hands, Ryan Griffin. But then this pick was kind of, you're hoping that J.C. Jackson doesn't get inbounds on this. Damian Harris goes for yet another touchdown. Felt like he got into the end zone all day. Now at this point, we just want to lay dead. We just want to die peacefully. But no, they keep on going to their like whatever running backs and scoring. They yet again another goal line touchdown. And at this point, I turned off the game and just wanted to end my suffering. But Michael Carter then fumbles the ball to end the game, and this kind of ended a lot of our hopes to any type of playoff, any type of having a good year. We were expecting yet again another bad year due to Zach Wilson's injury. Zach Wilson, though, was only out for 4 weeks, and we felt okay with Mike White coming in for about a few games. Now, let me warn you guys, we're going to be seeing a lot of Patriots stats in this one. Zach Wilson leaves early, 6 for 10 for 51. He was actually having an all-right game, but we kind of spared ourselves another game of Zach Wilson interceptions. Mike White, 20 for 32, 202 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. Mac Jones had a really good game, 24 for 36, 307 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kendrick Bourne on a fancy little play had a touchdown. On the ground for us, Michael Carter didn't have a good game. He ended up fumbling in the end. Elijah Moore with a rushing touchdown. Now for them, Damian Harris, 14 for 106 yards and 2 touchdowns. J.J. Taylor, 9 for 21, 2 touchdowns. Mac Jones was even going on the ground. Michael Carter and Ty Johnson in the air, though, were pretty good. Combined 14 interceptions and 132 yards. And then Corey Davis mossed somebody in the end zone. That's all I care about. For them in the air, Brandon Bolden, 6 for 79 and a touchdown. Nelson Aguilar with that, it was the Kendrick Bourne touchdown that he got. And then Hunter Henry also got into the end zone. Kendrick Bourne for 46. For us, on defense, Ashton Davis actually led us in tackles. Delshon Phillips got a good sack in there. And then for the Patriots defense, Kyle Duggar with an interception. J.C. Jackson with yet another interception. He always gets one against us. And Miles Bryant and Daniel Ekwale, I hope I'm saying that right, both with sacks. Now, after these 6 games, we were having a bit of a quarterback competition now since that Zach Wilson injured his PCL, but we saw a little bit of a glimpse of hope, unlike last year with Sam Darnold. Zach Wilson had a really good game against the Tennessee Titans, but now we have Mike White in, and it's a bit of a question mark how we're going to deal with the time that Zach Wilson is there. Should we try to tank and lose, or should we just maybe have some fun? And now in the next video, we're going to be reviewing the games that are without Zach Wilson, and there are some fun ones in there. So I hope you guys stick around, like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you for watching.